Every single piece of content that you create, you curate, you spend time on is an introduction to a new audience. Understand the power in that. Every single piece of content that you create is you introducing yourself to the world.
Hi, I'm Brittany.
And I'm Alex.
And you're
in
the Editing Castle. This is an exciting day.
This is such a good day. We have taken a lot of inspiration from all of our mentees, and the most frequently asked question that they have is Instagram growth. We're going to go over the main topics that we want to share with you about how you can grow your community every day.
Alex, what are you editing in your castle today?
We are recording. It is Sunday, which is always a great day for Editing Castle podcast recording.
Yes.
So what are we working on? We're working on last week's short form that we get to share with you guys this week. And I love working into script. It's such a user-friendly program, and it really streamlines the entire process, which means we get to share what we've learned with you faster.
I do love Descript. In my editing castle today, we went live and talked about all of the ways that we set up the pod and things we recommend. I think we'll do that moving forward. It's just a really fun moment to bring you guys in on.
Yeah, going live with your community is an awesome way to just candidly interact with them and talk like you're having a conversation with your friends, because your community should be friends.
This topic is something that's so near and dear to our heart because Alex and I are a product of our community. All of the opportunities that we enjoy now are because we've dedicated so much of our time and love to our community and growing our social media presence. So I'm very excited to help out all of my friends and get you guys closer to the community that brings you abundance and opportunity as well.
What are you working on today in your editing castle? Are you compiling all of your expenses from 2024?
Tax season.
It's almost here. Or are you planning a content retreat or a styled shoot that you've been dreaming of all winter long?
Whatever you're working on, we're so glad that you're hanging out with us. So let's get into today's topic.
Here we go. We live in a world where you have opportunity to have organic reach and connect with your community in a beautiful way in so many different online platforms. Today, we're focusing on Instagram specifically. Everything that we're going over does relate to other platforms as well.
Absolutely. When it comes to being relevant as a business in 2025, it is paramount that you are on social media. The reason why is because people want to buy from companies that they follow on social media. They love feeling like they know who they're giving their money to. Social media is a great way for you to meet new people who might want to buy your product or service. To build your business and to get more inquiries, you need to build brand awareness. This is more than just simply getting your name out there. You need to build familiarity with who you are, the person behind the brand. And the best way to do that is through social media. Before we get into any of the tactical tips and tricks we're going to give to you today, it's so important to address your mindset on this.
It is an opportunity to create. We are going to say this together. It is not a chore to create for the community online. It is a privilege to create and to share yourself and what you offer to the world. If you really break it down and think about it, it's amazing. You can do a 10-second video and all of the work that you've done for that video now lives online. It's being shown to people. It never has to take a break. It never has to go to sleep. It never has to go and eat. It's just a warrior that's working for you. And imagine if you had to do that same 10-second video door to door to get your brand name out there. And you had to perform it exactly the same every time.
This is how I thought the radio worked. I thought that musicians were just like in the lab cooking it up. And then I was just listening to the live feed of that song.
That's beautiful. I didn't know that about you. I love you.
It's so cool that you send out these warriors and they go to war for you. You can go about your lives and you have your content, which is all of your effort and all of your creativity working for you when you're not working.
When you think about it that way, it's really not a chore. It is certainly a privilege that you get to create a piece of content one time and it gets to continue to work for you, which is where we're going to go to next. The piece of content that you create should always be evergreen and it should always provide value. This type of content will 100% outperform something that lacks either of those two together.
It's not about creating vanity content. It's about creating valuable content. content.
Yes.
What do I mean by that? You are a human being and you want to make yourself feel important. When you show up on camera, the easiest way to create is to talk about what you know. People fall for the trap of just talking about themselves. But the real beauty in social media is you're not creating for yourself. I mean, I watch my stories, but you're not creating for you to consume your content. You're creating for an audience to consume your content. Your community will be receiving it. Change the dynamic from, oh, I'm creating this piece of content for the vanity to make myself feel special, to make myself feel important. And instead, think about what you're creating as what can I create for them to bring them value. The biggest mistake people make is they aren't creating with the audience in mind.
Yes.
We live in a world where you're day trading attention. Gary Vee, he talks about this all the time.
Yes, he does.
There are so many creators that are creating content, and that's not to say that there isn't room for yours. The most beautiful thing you could do is create your content with the audience in mind. Put the two together. Be creative, be talking about what you want to talk about, but have yourself in a mindset where you're like, what do they want to hear from me? As we give you tips and tricks on building your community, I don't want you to fall for that mindset trap of, oh, now I have to also be a content creator as a photographer. You get to be a content creator as a photographer. You get to be your marketing team and come up with innovative strategies to reach new audiences. That's a really cool thing.
It really is.
And you said this, Alex, you said that right now it's free, but you don't know if the future holds a world where we have to pay to post. So take advantage of this era of organic that we get to thrive in right now.
It's the golden days. I wanted to expand a little bit and go further into sharing what types of content you can actually share with your audience.
Get very specific on what your goals are before you start creating content. Yes, practice is going to make you better. So I do want to give you the advice to just get started, but let's get started really smart. What are your goals with your content and with your platform? If your goal is to grow, then put the most amount of effort into producing reels and carousels with music. If your goal is to show off your beautiful art, then you can focus on carousels and putting out your beautiful photography. If you're creating videos for the Reels tab, that's going to be to create a new interaction with a new audience, as that algorithm is designed to go to people who do not follow you already. If you're creating a story, that is giving someone daily access to you, to the relatability points that you have as a human being, maybe your interests, your hobbies, your habits, etc. But it gives people a daily snapshot into what your vibe is like. No matter what, anytime you put a warrior into the space, it's going to be a productive use of your time if it's done well and your profile is optimized. We're creating good content for the sake of conversions in the future, whether that conversion is someone following you or someone is actually buying your service or your product. You're putting your brand in front of more people. I give the advice to create as often as you can and as consistently as you can, but that does not mean every day.
Consistency is all about how your content makes people feel. If you can consistently create that emotion, that's what we're talking about with consistency. It's not necessarily every single day at 3 p.m. you have to post and that means it's consistent. Although that's not a bad strategy.
That's a great strategy.
We're looking more for the emotional response because that's where real connection happens.
Positivity in your content will take you so much further than negativity will.
For example, never start your story with, hey, I've been MIA for a couple months and this is what I've been doing. Instead, just start with the very exciting news. Hey guys, today is all about the podcast. This is what we're doing. This is how we do it. You have to allow them to be excited, because if, I don't know about you, but when I see a story where someone's talking about like, hey, sorry, I've been gone at this or that, it doesn't really grab my attention. It makes me feel like I'm lowering my frequency by watching content of somebody that's going to talk poorly about themselves. It's just something that you should avoid.
I love giving the advice to just document what you're already doing, document your space. So this could be you editing on your computer. Yep. This could be you shooting at a really cool session, some BTS.
This could be you're taking the piece and moving it into Photoshop and you have to remove some big distractions. Any type of content like that is really going to perform because it's showing somebody how to do something. Again, we're going to provide value whenever we can, inspiration when we need to, and entertainment is always a great idea as well.
Right. As a photographer, you're going to be creating all kinds of different stories on a daily basis. The easiest way to consistently create stories is to create content of things you're already doing, your current habits and hobbies and things that are already going on. That way it's not something new you have to do.
This is a really awesome opportunity to allow yourself to use this as an accountability partner to really actually make the change that you always talk about making. If you know that you're going to be documenting yourself going to the gym, maybe you're part of the Gold Star Club. If you're going to be documenting that, it's going to allow you to be more consistent showing up for it every day. If you love to take a picture in the mirror and put that on your story, you're going to probably simply create a look to make sure that you feel confident in that photo, which is going to allow you to feel confident in creating content throughout the entire day.
Yeah, you have to get up and you have to get ready to be on camera if you want to feel camera confident. Brush your teeth, do your hair. If you want to put on makeup, put on makeup. Whatever you have to do to make yourself feel confident on camera is going to translate into the energy you have in the content, and ultimately the energy that people are going to receive when you put that out there. If you're creating your stories of you editing, of you shooting, of you doing these photographer things, people will start to understand that your brand offers photography and photography services. It's also an added bonus that your clients will love to be in your stories. They love to have their moment in the limelight too. And that's where I think it's such cool advice to take a selfie or a fun 0.5 video with every couple that you get to work with.
Absolutely.
It's such an awesome way to show, again, who you are, what you're doing, and how you do it.
This is a really great way to share your journey as well. You're sharing what you're going through every day. Some days that might be really a great story. Another day, it might be you having to deal with data overload because you had such a beautiful session and you're a proud overshooter.
Yeah.
Like it could be any type of thing that's going to be a struggle that somebody else will connect with.
Always use your pretty language so your struggles still are a positive and impactful story. You don't want to, for your data example, come on your stories and be like, gosh, I'm self-depping, I'm the worst, overshooting, blah, blah, blah. That's not the energy we want. We want to use humor and positivity to share something that's very relatable to other photographers, and for your clients to also start to understand what happens behind the scenes.
Yes.
The third element of stories that I love to share as a recommendation, intentionally be creating stories that could be connecting you to people in ways that are not related to your business. So this might sound counterintuitive because I'm specifically asking you to create content that's irrelevant to your very specific photography niche. This is a powerful thing though when it comes to human connection. So for example, hobbies. If you are an avid puzzler or you make sourdough bread, or on the weekends you bowl Saturday nights until midnight, whatever your thing is that you want to connect with people on, intentionally put that into your stories. You mentioned this with the star chart. When Alex and I started to involve our fitness and wellness passion with our photography business, we realized that there were a lot of photographers who are doing the same thing. And so we got to connect to them on an even deeper level. And now, Alex, the impact of the star chart has just been so much fun.
Yeah, it is a really good way to build out a routine. And then you understand that during certain parts of your day, during certain parts of your week, this is what you're doing. It's a non-negotiable because it is such a boost for you. And honestly, I have really great creative ideas while I'm running. I know you do too.
Yeah, I love running.
We just shared a bunch of great ideas for stories about how you can connect with your community. And when you do this over a period of time, you've now created different highlights that are stories that you create on that day-to-day basis. And then you can leave those there in separate categories. So it's easy for your community to come and get a sense of what you like and what you do.
I love highlights for this purpose. It's an awesome continuous communication piece. There are so many different things you can create highlights about. I love recommending an about me or start here. That can be you describing your services, describing the process of inquiring with you and what
maybe
they can
why.
expect.
Like
maybe
why photography means so much to you.
Another great recommendation for highlights are, what are your main services? Create highlights for each one specifically. So in the photography space, you'll see people have a highlight for weddings, engagement sessions, maternity, and so on.
Yes, that's a great point. One easy way to fill that content in your highlight is to create BTS like you were talking about at the session while you're doing it. And then that can go on your story. Stories expire within 24 hours. So then you can then move that to your highlight specifically for that type of photography that you have. And now you're building that content bank, but you can also still use that same video as an intro clip in a reel. And then you could share the photos that you created and that would go out to new followers. So there's a lot of different ways to use the same piece of content.
I love giving the recommendation. You can also use highlights to show testimonials.
Yes.
A lot of times you will get back that excited text about the gallery or a review in an email or something. Take a screenshot of that, layer it with one of the beautiful images you created that they're geeking out about, share that to your story and add that to your testimonial highlight. That is a super effective way to show people who come across your profile for the first time what people are saying about your service and your product. They're looking for a review. Every single person who's online shopping is looking for the review section.
But what's the
Put
review?
it right in front of them.
What's the review say? Yes, you're absolutely right. And then another great way to facilitate using that same piece of content that you just created is you can now sandwich that into one of your carousel posts about the same content, or maybe you do like a review carousel and you add had multiple different reviews. So there's so many different ways to utilize the content after it's been created. So you're being efficient with your time.
Yes. I would love to talk about carousels for a moment. Carousels are an amazing way for you to present your beautiful photography and videography to your clients. You can do multimedia carousel posts. It doesn't just have to be pictures. You can add in a little clip of your BTS. You can add in a little segment of the video you created for that wedding couple. Have fun with your carousels being your formal portfolio, whereas your reels are going to be much more fun and much more messy and lighthearted. And it makes sense because if someone's coming to look at your carousel, they want to read a longer caption. They want to look through all 20 slides. But if they're going to a reel, they're looking for that quick hit of you. Make your video shorter if you want them to perform better. If you find yourself asking the same question we mentioned at the beginning of this episode, how do I get more clients? How do I gain more clientele? The answer is you need to put yourself out there more so people know what you're doing and they know who's doing it. People love to invest in brands that they know. And by showing up on social media, you're giving all of your new and current community an opportunity to get to know you. And it's going to be so much easier for them to feel confident investing in you if they feel like they know you. Yep. I believe that social media is the new way of introducing yourself.
Every single piece of content that you create, you curate, you spend time on is an introduction to a new audience. Understand the power in that. Every single piece of content that you create is you introducing yourself to the world.
If you create content with this first impression mindset, you're never going to show up and say, you guys already know this about me.
I don't know
you guys, that. You guys have been following me for a while.
I haven't. I've never followed you yet.
Exactly. I think instead of that language, instead say, I have something exciting to share. I want to bring you along for this. Make people feel special for discovering you in that moment.
Yep.
And keep making people feel special even when they keep showing up. Make it feel like it's the first time and you're just so grateful that they're there. That's going to make any new person who comes across your content feel immediately connected instead of disconnected.
Think about it like this. If you were going to go to a restaurant and it was a buffet and you go to the buffet and you look for your favorite slice of pizza. For me, that's sausage, mushroom, onion, schmo all day. So you look at the buffet and you see that there's one piece left of the old pizza and there's also a couple pieces that just came out. Okay. Which piece do you think you're going to have?
The fresh pizza.
I want the fresh pizza. So
every single sitting out all day.
Every single piece of content should have that fresh energy to it. If it feels stale to you, learn what part of it dropped off or what part lost the excitement in your own mind, reflecting on the piece of content that you created, and now go and make a new piece of content that's better because you looked at it and you thought about it and you realized this isn't going to perform. If you're not excited about the content, other people aren't going to be excited about the content.
You have to be your own biggest cheerleader. The only way to grow on social media, if you're not enjoying your content, chances are your audience isn't enjoying it either. Yep. If you have this energy of like, you're so excited about your content, you can't wait to share it with everyone, that's going to be infectious for your audience. We've talked about mindset, the types of content you'll be creating, what their purpose is, and what it's all about. Now we're going to dive a little bit into what we're going to call the Instagram audit part of this episode. Now, I think it's important to also talk about the idea that you're building familiarity with who you are.
Let's break down how you can actually send this type of messaging just from your profile picture and your bio.
Imagine that you're getting a phone call. Okay. If the phone call says unknown, you're probably not going to answer it.
Never going to pick that up.
Versus if you have a contact name, a photo, you know the name that's calling you, you're probably going to answer that telephone call. To become wildly successful as a photographer, be super clear about who you are, what you're doing, and what you want them to come along your journey with you for.
Yes. So they've discovered you because you've done a great job and you've posted a beautiful reel, which is again that short form that just grabs somebody's attention. From that reel, they were so entertained or you provided so much value that now they're coming back to your account. We want to continue to foster the relationship that we've already begun, which is so exciting. The first thing that people will connect with is your profile pictures. We really want to emphasize how important it is that it's you smiling, radiating joy. And if you can, please have your camera in the frame with you. This is going to help in the algorithm, and this is also going to help people to connect to you and understand what your service is going to provide.
You know how they say that a photo is worth 1,000 words? I believe on Instagram, a photo is worth 1,000 follows. If you have a profile picture that has your face and your camera, that's a highly converting profile picture as opposed to just your logo or just a font floating in space. I want you to put your face in front of people. That's your first introduction.
People like connecting to humans instead of a corporate business. They really want to understand the humans that make that go. So make your photo very welcoming, and we'll just continue on introducing ourselves in the same way. When you start to read your bio, whatever is in that bio is going to connect, or it's going to push the person away. We really want to be very friendly. We want to also save them time. We're not trying to just say a bunch of things
Don't
that
bury
don't
the
make
lead.
sense. We just want to show them, hey, this is what you're going to get from me. I'm located here. This is what I do. Photo, video, blah, 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 blah.
To simplify bio intention, ask yourself, what is someone going to get from this profile? They will be asking themselves, what am I going to get from this profile when they're on your Instagram? So it's so helpful for you to reverse engineer that. Your bio should answer that question. What's in it for me?
What's in it for me? And obviously there's not nearly enough characters to share all of the things that you wish that you could share. Adding a link tree or adding some type of way that they can opt into what you share and what you provide in another way is also going to be really good. People are really familiar with the internet now. It is 2025, so they understand that if they want to deep dive, they can go deeper and deeper.
And the link in the bio, they know where to find it.
Link in the bio.
Yes, it's not even something you have to say in your content anymore. People understand, which is why I also feel like you no longer have to tell people to follow you. If that felt cringy or whatever when that first became like a big part of content creation and growing a community, you can now skip that part completely. People understand if they like a creator, they can just simply follow them.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the best time ever to be a content creator. And what's really cool and optimistic for anyone who's starting their journey today, smaller creators are getting pushed out in the algorithm more than larger creators are. This is something that Instagram's intentionally doing in order to incentivize all of the content creators who want to get started and get their foot in the door. There is no better time than right now to get started.
One other really important thing that you should highly consider adding into your bio is geographically where you are located. Also include if you do like to travel. That's a great thing to add into there so that somebody that is from California sees that you're located in Wisconsin, but they're like, hey, I really love what you do. Would you come to Southern California for me? Yes, I love to travel. I love experiencing new things. Something along those lines is a great idea. Just answer any of those questions that they're going to have.
Your nameplate needs to answer the question of what someone's searching for on the Instagram search bar. If you really want to get into a specific niche, photography, put it in your nameplate. And then to Alex's point, add in the city or state that people would be searching for and do this intuitively. If you go to search Minnesota wedding photographer, you're probably not typing in MN photographer. You could
really consider how the end user is using the search feature.
Exactly.
So if they're going to spell it out, you should spell it out.
Exactly. Do research, right? You can go to the search bar and start looking for the things that you would want to pop up for. To review, your bio should start with a nameplate that connects you to search engine results. It should be a bio that explains who you are. Please include your name. It should explain what you're doing and what your future follower can expect out of your content moving forward.
Anything after that, just add it into the link tree.
Love it.
Keep it clean.
Keep it clean.
Keep it clean. Keep it clean. If it looks messy and if you're sharing that you do 7 to 8 different types of photography, that might actually put off somebody because they're like, oh, is this person really good at that? Or do they just do everything because that's what they have to do? They just take whatever they can. Even if that's the style of photographer that you are, lead with your favorite things to do, the things that light you up the most. Make some of those decisions for your searchers.
When you become a specialty service, you will become so much more in demand versus if you are a jack of all trades, you may be perceived as a master of none. It's important that you choose a few different focus niches for your photography portfolio. That way, when someone gets past that search engine, that bio, they get down to your portfolio, it's a very clear path of what kind of work you're offering to the world. So
for example, if you're doing weddings, elopements, engagements, and couples, you could just put weddings and couples who are in love. If you are doing a lot of senior sessions lately, maybe you put, senior portraits, maybe you put branding photographer.
The reason why adding that very specific niche portfolio is so powerful is because the person who came across your portfolio is imagining themselves in that content. If they're looking for maternity content and they don't see any represented in your portfolio, it's going to be a lot less likely they're reaching out to you for that. That's why we say pick a niche and pick a focus. It allows you to become perceived as an expert in one thing versus be perceived as an expert in nothing.
So after they've gone through your bio and they really enjoy the energy and the vibe that you're sharing, they might head on down to your Reels tab. And this is why it's so important to have a consistent approach to creating your Reels. You can definitely have different content pillars, and we definitely recommend that. But one thing that we want to remain very clear is that you are a photographer. If someone were to scroll wildly down and they hit your 13th reel in a row, they should see that you're a photographer. And if they go back up to the top and then they pick the 4th reel, they should see that you're a photographer. So being consistent as far as that goes is a good approach to make sure that you're not confusing anybody. It's very clear.
The best way to make this so easy is to have your camera in the frame as much as possible when you're creating reels. Even if you're doing a lip sync style video, hold your camera.
Hold it.
If you're doing a time lapse, place it on your desk next to you. If you're doing a talking head education, put it so much in the frame that people can't help but make comments about it.
Yep.
This is going to do 2 things. It's going to boost your post in the algorithm for photographers because AI will be able to recognize that there's a camera. This should be for a photographer.
Yep.
But number 2, it's always going to give someone something to talk about. So much of our engagement over the years has been people asking about gear that's being shown in the video. It's all about what you put in front of people to stop the scroll, to hook them, and to get them engaging with your content. It's so important for you to make bingeable content. Someone should be able to scroll through 10 to 15 videos and still have a consistent understanding of who you are, what you're doing. That would be an amazing commitment if someone scrolled through and enjoyed 15 of your videos.
Make good reels. Like the value that you put into the reels is going to keep people on your page and it's going to continue to foster that relationship that you've already begun. They found you, they checked out your bio, they looked at all of your stuff, they love it. By giving them those bingeable videos that actually provide value and maybe some entertainment as well, you're going to find a follower that way.
Exactly. The best way to make good reels is to prioritize good lighting, good audio, and a good story. Those 3 things are all that you need to focus on. Your content should have a definitive message or story. We like to call it context. This is something that's going to be in the text overlay on the screen. This is going to be something in the caption. It's going to be the conversations you're starting. We're going to do another episode on specific reels and strategy, and we're going to get even more narrow. But for now, this is a great place to start. Good audio, good light, and a good story.
We put a little question box into our Editing Castle story, and we had a couple responses, one of which we'll share now, and we're going to answer the question.
Yay!
So this question comes from...
Love community questions.
From Jaylee Anselmy Photography. What's up, Jaylee? She wanted to know, getting people to follow you in your area. I have people from back home, Colorado, but people from Florida. It seems like you had a really big move.
Congrats on the move.
That is so amazing. And now you're looking to find a way to establish yourself more in your current area because the geographical location is going to be where most of your clients are going to come from.
This is so cool. You get to build your new community, your Florida community.
You get to build your new community. My best advice to you would be to pick the specific area that you're living in Florida. You didn't include it, but let's just say it's Orlando.
Yes.
Go to your Instagram search bar, go to places, type in Orlando, Florida, hit search, see what comes up, and all of the people that are creating content tagging that location should come up. This is going to be a great place for you to start. And anytime that you move to a new area, just pick a number in your head. And for example, if I was making a big move, that's across the country. If I was making a big move like that, I would say, okay, in the first 3 months that I'm in this new location, I'm going to do 10 shoots for free just for exposure and creating more of a network that's centralized to my new location.
Yes.
That's why I started with the location in the search feature on Instagram, because it's going to show you people that are out there creating in your area. And that's who you want to be working with because that's where you need the attention to be.
The best way to build a geographically specific audience is to go to Instagram and search for that audience and then go into those profiles comment section and make connections with the people in their community. It's basically like you create a sister community by going to the accounts that you already admire in the area and interacting with the people who are interacting with them. For example, let's say I just moved to Orlando, Florida. I'm a photographer and I want to make friends with other Orlando photographers. That way I can have some really cool second shooter opportunities, or I want to have the opportunity to connect with them, maybe shadow, maybe offer BTS so I can get into the space. The first thing I'm going to do is go search for what accounts, community that I want to also follow me. I'm going to find those accounts. I'm going to go into their comment section and I'm going to find the humans who are interacting with them. And I'm going to go and give love to those individuals. Often photographers are interacting online with photographers. So this is an awesome way to build community and fast, but it's community that's specific to those places. You will want to just put your name out there in as many ways as possible. And I love to start with the photographer community. Then you go to the actual client community that could be in the area. Serve those people really well, even if it's for free model shoots, that they can then begin your organic growth with word of mouth referrals.
My last tip is probably the most fun, and it's to get involved in your new community in every single way that you can. Literally find a community board. If there's a rec center in the town that you move to, go there. They usually have a lot of community events that they can share with you. And any type of event needs content, even though that's not the style of photography that you love to do.
Right. You might not be capturing the Chamber of Commerce.
You might not love that, but
night.
Those are all based on the humans that are at those events. Because right now you're working on networking, not so much your only niche photography. You have to consider that as another great way to start to build those relationships.
That's a genius path, because if I'm a wedding photographer, but I want to focus more on families moving forward, you go to one community event, so many families, everybody knows somebody who wants photos taken. So go to those events, capture them with love and joy, and have great energy as you interact with everyone. Introduce yourself to as many people as possible. You will then be a relevant photographer in that area and in that community.
Anytime that you can get somebody's contact information, you can now have a way to market to them in the future. One other really cool thing that you could do is, hey, I'm new to the area. In the past, I have experience doing this type of photos. For the first 6 months that I'm here, I'm giving 30% off to help to expand my portfolio to this specific region.
I love a good discount.
Any type of marketing strategy like that is a really good option, because you are only new to an area for the first couple of months.
And the easiest way to become familiar with that area is to geotag that area in your content. Your profile should pop up as the search results for what your key customer is looking for. An example of this could be this area that you moved to in Florida. There's this one really big park that a lot of people go to. I think it's genius to host some kind of content day there, even if you are paying out of pocket for it to create the portfolio, because then you can post that portfolio on your page through carousels, through reels, geotag it. Now, if I am a random client who's never heard of you for photography, but I know I need a photographer and I want these pictures taken at that really cool park, I'm going to go type in that park and your results are going to come up. Now I'm already visualizing myself in your content. You are now the photographer I'm probably reaching out to in order to book.
I know I just said my last piece of advice, but this is my last piece of advice.
It's kind of like being a photographer and you're like, just
one
more
photo.
shot. Yeah.
My last piece of advice is to really continue to post content every day. Like if that seems overwhelming, then pick 4 days out of 7. So every other day. And the reason that you need to do that is because you have to continue to, like you said, geotag your location. And now when people are searching for those regular everyday type of things, you're going to be popping up. You're going to be popping up. You're going to be popping up.
Now that we've gone through all of that juicy information, the last piece of this is we want to give you a quick step growth guide of what your content schedule can look like for a month, and a little mini challenge to see if you can consistently do that, and then report back to us on how the results came out. Alex, if I was someone, I'm ready to take on anything you would recommend and I want to grow as quickly and as aggressively as possible, what do you recommend? And then I'll also have you give an example of someone who's already pretty busy, but they still want to see consistent growth. Give me 2 different options of what a content schedule could look like on a weekly basis.
Honestly, congratulations. The first step is deciding that you really want to make some changes, get your growing on. So I would say that the number one thing to do would be to post 5 reels a week. So that would be 20 reels for the whole month. That's 20 different opportunities for someone to come across your content in the Reels algorithm tab.
Right.
And then from there, they're going to come back to your profile and look at all the things that we talked about today.
Correct.
I would say make sure you have 3 to 5 quality stories every single day. Let them expire. And I would say sprinkle in 2 different carousel posts with music so that they can also be found in the Reels tab. If that's not enough and your main goal is dramatic growth, I would also include going live once a week. That would be 4 total lives, 20 total Reels, 8 total carousels, and a lot of stories. So you got this.
But that's 1 month of content. And then if you prioritize creating evergreen content, there might be a few pieces in that whole month that you can reuse in month 2. Understand that when you're creating on any given day, you could be creating for future you too. That is going to help you with your mindset as you continue to show up and continue to show up. You're not just creating for today, you're creating for forever. Evergreen content. Now, I will give this advice of a content schedule for the girly who's already feeling overwhelmed, but she wants to start growing. You can do 2 stories per day and you can post 1 carousel per week. I still give the advice of at least 1 reel per day. And then of course, fluctuate the amount of reels if that is something that you really don't feel feel is manageable for you. But I love giving the advice of a daily reel because it's practice. Your reels are going to get better the more that you do them. Someone once said to me, create 100 videos because 5 of them are going to do really well. But you need to create all 100 because that practice is going to make those 5 come to fruition.
Absolutely.
You're not entitled to your reels popping off, but it could happen. Do it as much and as often as you can, and you will love the experience of like growing throughout that journey.
Another little quick tip is take screenshots of you following along the way.
Yes.
Bring people along for the journey, and then when you do hit that goal that you made, it'll be a really fun wrap-up reel to show.
Celebrate yourself. People in your community will want to celebrate with you, to know that they were a part of your journey. Alex and I are super passionate about providing affordable education to our community. We love being able to offer all of these resources in our podcast episodes, but if you listened today and felt like you would benefit from more one-on-one coaching, mentorship is always an option. We do offer a 2-hour virtual mentorship with the 2 of us. It's an Ask Me Anything format, so we would kind of map out what our conversation could be, so it's the most optimized and effective during our time together. And those we do offer throughout the year, but March we're doing a special promo for our Editing Castle community. If you mention that you heard about mentorship through the podcast or the newsletter, we are offering mentorship for $300 instead of the traditional price of $400. Very exciting if you want to mention this promo and get a discount. We would love to be able to help you. Congratulations on being on your growth journey and building the community of your dreams. Everything that you're doing today is helping out future you build more abundance and freedom in the way that they run their business.
Just remember that every goal that you set is just one goal that you're going to accomplish.
You can do anything.
You can do anything. We're here cheering you on along your journey. Bring us with.
We will be cheering you on at the top of our lungs. If you love this episode and found any value in what we shared, please share it to your Instagram story. We would love for you to tag us so we can see it. And we love to know how our episodes make you feel.
And please leave a rating on whatever platform you're listening. It means so much to us to learn how we're being helpful for you.
There will be so many fun resources in the show notes on whatever platform you're listening. So go check that out if you want some links or promos or different fun things.
And if you have any questions or any topics that you'd love for us to cover on Editing Castle Podcast,
the email is editingcastlepodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, it is.
On Instagram, we are Editing Castle Podcast. And with that, we're so happy you stopped by.
And you're always welcome back.
We'll see you next time
in the Editing Castle.